Hi everyone, today we're going to do some examples from section 3.1, which is about fair division games. Our first example, three brothers Larry, Moe, and Curly are dividing up their company, and they split up the company into three shares called S1, S2, and S3, and we have this table below telling us how each brother values each share. So for instance, Curly values every share equally, but Moe values S2 the least and likes S1 and S3 better. Okay, first we want to ask, how much is a fair share worth? So we want to notice every row of the table, or each brother's value, totals up to 100% of the value. They're dividing that among three shares. And a fair share, we're going to take that 100, we're dividing it amongst three people, and that gives us 33 and a third percent. So a fair share is worth at least that much. Okay, fair shares for each player. Well, Larry, if we look at him, the only one that he values above 33 and a third is S3. That's the only fair share to him. Moe, S2, the value is below the fair share, but S1 and S3 are both above it. And Curly, every share is right at that fair share mark. So he values S1, S2, and S3 as fair shares. Now we want to find a fair division of the assets. And that means we just want to assign each brother a fair share. So for instance, Larry, well, S3 is the only one that he thinks is fair, so he's going to get that one, which means that it's no longer an option for the other two. That leaves Moe with S1 as the only fair share left for him. We take that off of Curly's list, and that leaves Curly with S2. So here is our fair division. Okay, next example. Kaylee, Inara, and Zoe buy a $21 cake together. It's 1/3 strawberry, 1/3 chocolate, and 1/3 lemon. So it's a circular cake. Here's a picture of it from the top. And that 360 degrees of the circle is divided equally 120 degrees strawberry, chocolate, and lemon. Kaylee likes chocolate and strawberry equally but hates lemon. Zoe likes them all equally. Inara only likes lemon. Now we want to fill in the table with how they value each one. In the last example, those rows totaled 100%, but now we have the exact monetary value of the cake, $21, so every row is going to total $21. And let's start with Inara. She only likes lemon, which means that she thinks the chocolate and strawberry parts are worth $0 and the lemon part's worth the entire $21. Now let's talk about Zoe. Zoe likes them all equally, so that $21 gets divided evenly into three parts. 7 times 3 is 21, so each part's worth $7. Kaylee likes chocolate and strawberry but hates lemon, which means lemon has $0, and then that $21 gets divided in half between chocolate and strawberry. And 21 divided by 2 is 1050. Okay, now we've got a couple of particular slices and we want to know how these women value them. So how much does Kaylee value slice number 1? Okay, slice number 1 is all of the strawberry and 60 degrees or half of the chocolate. Remember, each piece of this is 120 degrees. All right, so we're talking about Kaylee in slice number 1. It's all of the strawberry plus half of the chocolate. Well, Kaylee values the strawberry at 1050. And she values the chocolate at 1050, but we only want half of that, so we're going to multiply. And let's go ahead and multiply this out. 1/2 times 1050 is 525. And we add those together, and we get that Kaylee values this first slice as being worth $15.75 out of the $21 of the cake, which means she values it pretty highly. That's a pretty large proportion of that $21. All right, How much does Anara value slice number 1? Well, let's go back and look at Anara's row. Anara only likes lemon, and this is strawberry and chocolate, which means it doesn't hold any value for her at all. She thinks that slice number 1 is worth $0. All right, part B. How much does Zoe value slice number 2? Slice number 2 is 45 degrees of the 120 degrees of chocolate, and Zoe values chocolate as being worth $7. So we only have a piece of the chocolate here, and we want to know, so what piece of that $7 corresponds to it? Well, we're going to use a fraction because we've got 45 out of a possible 120, and we're going to multiply that by 7. So we divide 45 by 120, and that is 0.375 times 7. We multiply that out, and we get 2.625. But since we're dealing with dollars and cents, we're going to round to 2 decimal places. So we look at the next one, it's 5 or above, which means that 6.2 rounds up to 6.3. So Zoe thinks that piece of 45 degrees chocolate, slice number 2, is only worth $2.63. Okie doke. Our last example. Finn, Jake, and the Ice King divide up a piece of land worth $100,000 into 3 parcels, S1, S2, S3. Each one of them is going to get 1 piece. So let's first deal with Finn. Finn values each piece equally, and the total's worth $100,000, so we can divide that by 3, and we get $33,333.33. That's how much he values S1, S2, and S3. Now, let's go ahead and go back up to Jake. For Jake, S2 is worth $19,000 more than S1, and S1 and S3 are equal in value. So we can have S1 is equal to S3, and S2 is worth whatever S1 is plus 19,000. So we know that when we total these all together, they've got a total 100,000. So let's replace S1 and S2 and S3 with these values that we've got here. So we've got S1 and S2 we know is the same as S1 plus 19,000 extra. And then S3, well, we know that's the same as S1. So now we have 100,000. Well, we've got 1, 2, 3 of whatever that S1 is worth, plus this extra 19,000. So we're going to subtract 19,000 from both sides. And when we subtract it from 100,000, that leaves us with 81. And then, well, 3 times the value of S1 is 81,000. So we divide that by 3. And we get that S1 is worth $27,000. But remember, that's equal to S3. So S1 and S3, Jake views as being worth $27,000. And for S2, remember, it's whatever that S1 value was plus 19,000, which gives us that he values S2 as being worth $46,000. All right, now we're going to do something similar here for the Ice King. The Ice King values S2 twice as much as S1, so twice as much as S1, and values S2 and S3 equally. How much does he value each piece? Well, remember, 100,000 has to be equal to the total, all of these added together. And let's see, S2, we've got S1. S2 he values as twice S1, and S2 and S3 are equal. So S3, we can also say he values that twice as much as S1. All right, so now one of those S1 values and another 2 and another 2, well, that's 5 of them total. So S1 value times 5 is equal to 100,000. Let's divide that by 5. And we get 20,000. So S1 is worth 20,000. And then remember S2 is twice that. So that'll be 40,000. And S2 and S3 are the same. All right. The last part here, find a fair division using S1, S2, and S3. All right, so let's first figure out what a fair share is. Well, it's that 100,000 divided into 3 parts, which means $33,333.33 is the value of a fair share. And let's remind ourselves what people think is fair. Well, let's look at Finn. Finn rates all of them at exactly that fair share mark. So for Finn, all of them are fair. And let's go up and look at the Ice King. Well, the Ice King, S1 is only 20,000, but S2 and S3 are 40. So the Ice King, S2 and S3 are fair for him. And for Jake, S1 and S3 are only 27, S2 is 46. So for Jake, the only fair one is S2. So he's got to get that one. And that means it's off the list for the others. Well, that leaves only S3 for the Ice King. Now that's off the list for Finn, and that leaves S1 for Finn. Now every player has gotten one that they value at $33,333.33 or higher. Everybody has a fair share. And that's it for today.